Hi, I'm Mia Saenz, your host for this segment of The Paradigm Shift Conquering Fear. With me in this segment is Christy Whitman. The reason I'm coming on ahead of time is because I'm not seen in this video. There are a few of our videos in this series that you hear my voice but you don't see me. So with the busy schedules of our experts, I decided to just go ahead and use the amazing footage that we already have instead of trying to reshoot them. So enjoy this segment on manifesting, and we'll see you later on. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, Conquering Fear. I'm Mia Saenz, your host, and with me in this segment is Christy Whitman. Welcome, Christy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you here. Now, tell us a little bit about how you got your journey on, how you got to where you are. You're an amazing manifesting coach.
Thank you.
Checked you out and love it. So if you would share that, that would be wonderful.
What was the question?
How you got to where you are as being this manifesting coach who just changes lives.
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
It is.
Yeah.
We love to hear the background story because in my work it helps people realize that they can actually change their lives magnetically by learning from others.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point. So I'll keep it as brief as I can because it started 17 years ago.
Okay.
But I basically had nothing in my life that was working. I was dating the wrong kind of men. I was $60,000 in debt. I found myself overweight for my body size. It didn't feel good for me. It was like I quit my job because I hated it. So it was like I had nothing on the outer reality that was like, things I could cling to and go, okay, at least this is working. I mean, life was not working. And I met a woman, like I said, 17 years ago, that talked to me about vibration and energy and, manifestation and meditating, and just a whole new world opened up. So I started paying attention to my thoughts, because if it was true that your thoughts create your reality, it might be a good idea for me to start paying attention to those thoughts. And I did, and I was amazed at how negative I was, constantly criticizing myself, constantly judging myself, being so mean to myself. And then I could see, the negativity in my family and how in lack they were. It was just starting to have all this awareness of why I had a life like that. So I started to change my thoughts, and I started to do as much. I felt really connected to the word abundance and that feeling and that energy of abundance. So for me, I had a teacher very early on that told me, whatever you want to create in your life, connect with the essence. And meaning like the bottom line reason that you're, wanting what you're wanting. So if it's financial security, or if it's a new job, or if it's a partner, or losing weight, or, whatever it is, like what's the essence? What's that bottom line feeling? And for me, it was freedom and it was abundance. So I just started seeking as much information as I could. I was applying it in my own life. I got out of debt really quickly. I found a guy, a really wonderful man I was in an 8-year relationship with. I mean, life started really, going well. I had my ideal body without, dieting. It was like applying universal laws, just literally started changing my life. So here I am 17 years later, and I'm a New York Times best-selling author. I've got a very profitable, amazing business that gives me the freedom and the purpose and everything that I want. I have a happy marriage with a wonderful, conscious man, 2 wonderful, beautiful children that are healthy and happy, and they're just brilliant, and I don't know what I'm doing with them sometimes as a parent, but a full life that really actually works. And because of the universal laws. I mean, it's not because I got this special, something. It's that I've taken what I've heard and I applied it, and I see it manifest. And so then people want to know, what are you doing? So now I teach them what I do. That's beautiful. And you do have a special something because you learned how to have it. So I love that. Yeah, it's beautiful. So in your opinion, what is, also in mine, and you also talk about it, one of the biggest fears for mankind in survival is the abundance of supply, financial supply. Can we talk about that a little bit and how you work with people on that? Absolutely. Okay. Well, it's whatever fear we have. If we want to be really real and honest with that fear, like full on let ourselves feel that feeling of fear, because in that pocket of energy, we're energetic beings, in that emotion, that real feeling, feeling it in your physical body, like where is it? Communicate with that part of you. Like, what are you fearful about? What are the true fears that are coming up? And fears can change, as we go through different stages. For someone that's in, financial, disarray, it's like they feel like the bottom's going to drop, and what am I going to do? Am I going to be homeless? It's like all the different fears that go into someone's head, like, oh my God, can I lose everything? That's a much different fear than someone that's gained financial success and is afraid that, oh my God, it's not going to last. It's a different essence of the fear. It's a different nuance. But it's just really important to get in touch with what that fear is, because it contains so much information. And it'll tell you what your beliefs are, because we create from our beliefs. Whatever we believe to be true here will show up here. Right. It has to be that way. So
it is. It's beautiful. Yeah. And whatever you feel here, if you drop it to here in your heart, that's where it also changes so beautifully.
Yeah.
I love that when you live from your spirit, from your heart. It really does change the fear, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. It changes everything about us. I mean, women can look like they have had facelifts just from dropping from head to heart.
Right.
And interaction happens. And, it's like the heart doesn't want to control. The heart wants to connect. Yeah. So there's just so much that changes when we go from head to heart. I totally agree.
Yeah. It's funny because, and I just want to give this little side note. As a self-love teacher, I usually get people who come to me who are very, they don't like themselves, they think they're ugly, they think people are abusing them, talking about them, won't hold the door for them, all that kind of stuff. And as we talk and work through things, they realize, as I tell them, once you get your inner light going, you're going to see the world differently, and it's going to react to you differently. So it's absolutely, like you said, what's in your head is also, how you express yourself outward. So
absolutely. And it's also the thoughts that we think, that continue to feed our beliefs and continue to, in every moment, like leave us either in our heads or dropping into our heart. Because if we're in a space of love and we're feeling that connection to our higher self, to the wider, bigger, broader part of us, and we feel that all really is well, our reactions and the way we see things and our perceptions, it's all going to be, changed from that perspective, being in that heart space versus the head where, oh my God, is things going to work out, and, overthinking like we do.
Write about and speak about, but I found this through writings, how many relationship and circumstances are all outer reflections, which is what you're talking about, of the connection to our inner supply. So let's get into that, because people are like, okay, I want more money, and I don't want to be fearful. I do want that body I want, and I don't want to be fearful. And I want that magnificent relationship. Yeah. And it's so important.
Yeah. The key to abundance, this is not Christy Whitman's perspective. This is a law, a universal law, like law of attraction. Take a ball, throw it up, ball's coming back down because there's the law of gravity. So this is not just me. This is the law of sufficiency and abundance. To create any type of abundance at all, you have to at least be coming. Like I always say, the doorway to that abundance is at least be satisfied. Mm-hmm. So you have to at least feel fulfilled in order to have other things, people, situations come to you. You can't be in a space of lack and limitation. Like so many people are like, I'm so fearful, I gotta, I don't know where my money's gonna come from. And then they're like, and I'm applying for this job over here. It's like, it's not a vibrational match.
Right.
It's like you have to do whatever it is. And I can understand. Yeah, I want to say this is not easy, because people that get very attached to their emotions and their emotions overtake them sometimes and their emotions become bigger than they are, being in fear sucks and it's hard. And it's like when you're in it, it could just, I like to think of it as being in an ocean and the waves just come and just topple you over, right? But when you start having more awareness of yourself and start having more of a connection to your divine self, it's like the emotions could come. It's like, okay, I'm feeling a fear here. Okay, what's that fear about? And it's like a wave going by. So then you don't get swept away with it. You become bigger than it. So
I love how you said that. Can we do that one more time? Your emotions are
the wave, right? And
yeah. If your emotions, like, think of yourself being in an ocean, right? And if we're not aware that our emotions are just our emotions, it's not the fullness of who we are. Our emotions take over us. If we, it's like a big wave coming and toppling us over.
Right.
But if we can get bigger than our emotions, it's like a little wave comes by and we're like, oh, there's fear.
Right. Yeah.
Feeling this fear.
It's just a little ripple instead of hitting you down and mushing your nose in the sand as it pushes you along, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I've never heard it like that. I love that.
Yeah, it's really true. I remember being in Jamaica one time, and in a big wave that was starting. One of the hurricanes came like right. It was like still, and all of a sudden and you're just toppled over, and you know. I mean, emotions can feel like that sometimes, where they overtake you, and you don't know who you are.
Right.
So. And
you're absolutely right. And that's where everybody, well, not everybody, but that's where the sense or the idea of depression comes in, because you feel helpless.
Yes.
As opposed to conquering it and aligning to it. Absolutely wonderful. And so we just talked about how that works with money, and relationship would be the same way if you just step back from it and look at it instead of coming in. We tend to, as humans, come fighting because our heart is being hurt. Let's talk about that a little bit. Because Go ahead. I was just going to say, because the manifesting the right relationship is what everyone deserves.
Absolutely, yeah. I can give my experience, like when I wanted to attract Frederick into my life, I knew that coming from a place of loneliness would not bring someone. It's not have an attractive quality.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when we're not with someone, we feel lonely. Mm-hmm. And that feeling of loneliness is us missing ourselves. We're yearning for fulfillment of ourselves.
Yes.
And I would think that the type of relationship that you want is someone that's coming in their full being, where you show up in your full being. If you're not in that space, if you're at least not talking nicely to yourself and showing some form of self-love and, feeling that being by myself is okay, it's enough for now, mm-hmm. and in, finding the richness in that moment, because I used to think, well, I'm going to really enjoy this because I'm not always going to be alone. I'm going to have that person that I'm going to create a life with, and maybe kids. This could be the last time I ever live alone.
Uh-huh.
And feel the juiciness of that, because every situation has so much to offer us if we look at it from that perspective. But we're looking at what we don't have. That's coming from lack.
Right.
So I'm afraid a place of lack, you can't create and manifest what you want. It can't come to you if you're in lack, and that I'm a woman, so that man,
right,
that I wanted, full of himself, this mm-hmm. conscious, loving guy, the type of man I wanted, I had to work on me before I could attract him.
Exactly.
I had to get out of lack.
I love that. And also you have to let the universe know what you want in every aspect. In your relationship, I'm sure you put out there, I want a conscious man.
Scroll.
Yeah, I did too, and I stuck it in my underwear. I tell myself, women, stick it in your underwear drawer. That's a sexy place to put it.
There you go.
But the same thing. I'm a newlywed. I've been married before, but I'm a newlywed.
Okay.
And on this one, thank you. On this one, I was like, he has to be consciously aware, a spiritual man who's not arrogant, because I was bringing in spiritual men, but they were so arrogant. It's like, wait a minute, arrogancy is not part of spirituality. Spirituality is love. So there's.
I was very specific too. Needs to believe in law of attraction. I mean, that's how specific I got.
Yeah. Well, good. That's beautiful. So share with us the overall circumstances that we can manifest as well.
It's like driving in your car and not having traffic, having just free open roads. Going to a doctor's office and boom, they let you in right away. So you're not having to wait. It's going up to the Starbucks and getting the nicest girl that's like, oh, have a great day, instead of the grumpy one that hates, the being there type of thing. So it's like those kind of circumstances, the things that, you don't have, you make a Visa charge and it goes through instead of them having to call you because of fraud protection, and then you're wasting, it's like those days. Smoothness, harmony, flow. It's great.
Yeah.
So that for sure is one of the things it's like, it's fun to manifest the big things, like the health in the body and the size that you want to be, and, the money in the bank and the career that you want to have and the primary relationship. And then you look at the relationship with your kids and your parents and the friends and all that. And then, of course, your relationship with your higher self, you connected to you. That I consider that all one, spirituality and the juiciness we have within. That's all the outer.
Yes.
But then there's the circumstances are, what you attract, but it's also the way we feel during the day. You could have all this stuff and still be miserable.
Right.
So it's really not about the stuff. It's great to have it.
Yeah.
It's like, get beyond it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really about our day-to-day, moment-by-moment experience of our life.
Right. And when we manifest and we're in that place of that flow, that divine flow of these circumstantial things, doesn't everything else just, it's amazing. That's when if we need a new car, boom, it comes up. If we, want to hear from a loved one that we haven't been able to reach due to whatever, they're in a different country, boom, a message comes through.
I've never shared this in an interview because it actually is just happened. My husband and I decided that we wanted to live more in nature, and I love water. And so I want to live on water, at least have a lake view. Mm-hmm. And so there's this particular area that I love in Montreal. And there's very limited houses that are there, but it's a great area for our kids, but it's near the water. It's very nature. And you have to drive to get to it, but it's really, really, really serene. Well, one of our friends actually lives in that neighborhood. It's how we learned of the neighborhood. And so we kind of felt like, well, we can't move there. It's too close for comfort. It just would kind of feel like not right. Mm-hmm. And so what happened was we were like, yeah, let's look at different others. They're moving. They're selling their house and they're moving. Yeah. There's a lot next to them that we could build a house. So it's like amazing? Stuff like that. It's like we both love that area, but just kind of felt like, we'd be kind of, getting on their territory a little bit, and it'd be a little too close for comfort because it was literally right next to their house and land.
Right.
So, but it's just so funny. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, we're moving into the city. So it's just like flow like that, to manifest things like that, just to have things open up and.
It's beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. And it's funny that you're moving to the country and they're moving to the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
The energy spaces.
And that's it. Sometimes friends come into your life because there's an attraction point. And sometimes when you continue to raise your vibration and continue to raise your consciousness, the people that you used to dance with, they're, they just don't dance. And it's a letting go. And the letting go sometimes can be difficult. But you make room for more.
Exactly. And also, they may come back again to dance with us because their vibration will change and rise. And the beauty is you found that place probably through them. And that was one of the purposes. I love that because, and you enjoyed your relationship with them as you found it. That's beautiful. Congratulations on that. That's
Thank you. Thank you. It's fun.
That is fun.
It's just fun,
Yeah, and life should be fun, and manifesting is absolutely fun. People are so afraid of manifesting, and it's I've done it my whole life because I was raised in a metaphysical religion, and we used to call it we used to call it demonstrating, and I used to be a manifesting coach, quote unquote, whatever that was my title, like 4 years ago, and I still do it with people, but it's just, this whole self-love is different. But it's actually, when we're in divinely alignment with ourself, with our higher self, it really is all the same. It's just we take different avenues to get to that beautiful self-awareness of who we are. So that's very cool. I also found that you have written, to recognize a subconscious aversion, you have to, let me redo that. To recognize the subconscious aversion you have towards wealth and the release. I can't even say this. I'm going to ask you do you know what I'm talking about so that I can ask you? It says to recognize the subconscious aversion you have. Okay, I was putting my syllables on incorrectly. Okay, let's talk about this. I found this on your site too. I love it. To recognize the subconscious aversion you have towards wealth and to release the resistance that is blocking the flow of wealth into your life. We've been talking about this, but let's give a tool specifically because people are going to be saying, this is really cool. And also, guys, her free gift to you that she'll talk about a little bit, it's amazing. I was checking it out before I interviewed her, and I'm just like, she is offering such a beautiful, beautiful gift. So thank you all along for joining us and doing this. But let's talk about that, because what we just were talking about, the aversion towards wealth, because many people have different views on that.
Okay, so here's your aversion to wealth. You know that you have an aversion to wealth if you see someone driving in a new car and you start saying, "Oh, all people that drive Mercedes are blah blah blah."
Right.
That's aversion to wealth. Hello. When someone says they got a promotion and you feel bad, that could be a aversion to wealth.
That's jealousy.
Aversion to wealth.
Yeah.
Jealousy, competition, lack of any kind, it's all an aversion to wealth.
Yeah.
So, we either project it or we consciously have it, but it's like if you find things are not manifesting for you, no matter how hard you try, that could be an indication there's resistance there. Right. Any emotion you feel, whether it's jealousy or whether you feel like you start criticizing or judging somebody else, that's definitely aversion. So it's important to, if you find that, if you have that awareness that, wow, I saw that lady with a nice purse and I started judging her.
How wrong!
Probably a good indication you got an aversion to wealth.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because one of the things is, if you're jealous or envious of somebody else, that is just pure negative energy.
Yes,
and, if you shift it, it's always about shifting the energy. So if you shift it from being jealous to feeling like, wow, they inspire me. I would love a person like that.
Right.
Wow. It's like, then you start feeling yourself up with that feeling of abundance. Like, ooh, that'd be a cool experience. Good for them. Wow, I wonder what it's like driving that car, or living in that house, or, whatever, having that guy. I'm single and she's got like this really hot guy that's, consciously aware and, fun to be with. I want that too. It creates a different energy than, I can't have it. She's got that, or that kind of thing. So it's always shifting the energy.
I love that you said that, honey, because it's just amazing. People don't realize that if you shift like just what you said, that also awakens people's heart to more joy, I think, and confidence within themselves, because they're not holding on to that scarcity, that aversion to wealth.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. Okay. To release limiting beliefs. Okay. Let's talk about one more thing before we get into your beautiful gift, and that is releasing the limiting beliefs.
Okay.
About worthiness, about everything, because that's what all these people want to know about. Okay.
So, to release a limiting belief, you have to think of a limiting belief as like a weed. Okay, so imagine that your limiting belief is a weed, and here's the surface, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. When we change a thought, we cut off the weed at the top, but there's still that root. Okay? So our beliefs create our thoughts. So you can keep cutting off the thoughts, changing the thoughts, but you got to get deeper. You got to find out what is creating the thoughts, right? Think of the weed as like a thought bud that goes out, right? So the beliefs create our thoughts. The thoughts create our emotions. Our emotions create the vibration we send out into the universe, and then that comes back to us via law of attraction. Circumstances, situation, events, people, all that stuff. It's all a reflection. Everything, if you close your eyes and then you open your eyes, everything you see out here, that's all a reflection of what's going on in here. So, what was I saying?
You're so cute. It was about we were talking about the worthiness and about changing our thought process.
Oh, yes, thank you. Appreciate that. So we have to go in and grab the limiting beliefs. We have to take the weed out so that, it doesn't continue to manifest the thoughts. So one way of doing that is you have to know. You have to have awareness. What is the thought? So did you start judging that person for driving that car because you think you think about your dad, the belief your dad given you, that rich people are greedy. You know, and if you have to look at what were you told as a child from your mom and from your dad, what did they think about poor people? What did they think about people that were more wealthy than them? You know, did they talk about money and wealth and rich people at all, or did they never talk about it? I mean, all that kind of stuff has an effect on your relationship with money, because I'd like you to have a different, think about money as this. Money is just energy. It's green energy. That's all it is. It's a medium of exchange between something you have and something you want. You know, it's all it is.
Right.
And we put so much programming and beliefs and conditions and who we're going to be if we have it, and there's so much dysfunction in this relationship with this thing called money. And if you look at it as just energy, and you ask yourself, take out a $100 bill, take out $1, and look at the money and go, how do I feel about you? It's like, what's the energy you're giving out towards this thing called money? Because everything's a relational, energetic relationship that we have, whether it's food, whether it's money, whether it's our partners, with ourselves, our kids, whatever. Everything is a relationship energetically. Right. So what energy are you giving out towards this thing called money? Because that's what you're going to get back. Right.
Now, the weed I want to talk about, how you were saying about cutting the weed and getting down to the root. The weed, and you also brought up meditation, so this is why I want to confront this, or talk about this. If you can't figure out what your issue truly is, I would suggest, and I know that Christy has done this 100 million times, and I do it too, you go into meditation, then you just ask the question, what is going on? Why am I feeling this way? Because people don't know how to get sometimes from point A to point B, and that's where they get confused, I think.
I would say, what I do personally, and instead of saying, why do I feel this way, because why could be kind of a little bit confronting, right? Say, just be friendly with it, and just be like, what are you communicating to me?
Okay. That is a better word, and that's more of what I meant.
What information is here for me? What can I gain from this information of this feeling or this thought or this belief? If you then get the information that again, rich people are greedy because that's what your dad told you or your mom told you, right? And you realize, oh my gosh, I have this belief, and then you get to ask yourself, do you still want to believe that? Because now it's up to you to choose that. And if not, what do I want to believe instead? And just having the conscious awareness and feeling it, getting into the energy pockets of that, it releases it. It starts to release it. And then consciously you can bring in a different energy. It's those subtle shifts that make the big difference in the end.
Right. And as Christy said, it's how you word it. It's getting out of the victimhood and into the questioning of what, instead of why me?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it allows you to have more of a, communication.
Right. Wonderful.
With yourself, with the information.
Wonderful. Would you like to share your free gift?
I would, yes. Good. So I'm giving everybody 7 free videos on the universal laws. We talked a little bit about the law of sufficiency and abundance. So I always talk about 7 universal laws because I feel like these are the 7 essential laws to really make life work. And it's working with all of them that really is that beautiful, recipe, going into a kitchen and making your favorite cupcakes. I mean, there's a recipe to doing that. And I feel like the 7 essential laws, when put together, makes a beautiful recipe. So, I talk about each individual universal law. And then also, you get a free 1-hour, one-on-one, coaching hour with, one of the, coaches with the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, which is my, Law of Attraction certification program. Started back in 2008, and it's been going really great and strong, and we're certifying lots of coaches. So you get to actually get coached by one of those amazing coaches.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That's an awesome gift. Lovely. What other last few bits of juicy goodness that you'd like to share that you feel that we might have not discussed yet?
Everything is energy, and we create from our beliefs. So, if you believe that you can have it all, and then you feel the essence of that. What does having it all mean to you? What does it all mean? Like, what do you want? What's the essence? You want to feel abundant? Then settle into that feeling of abundance. Let that be the dominant vibration you give out in the universe. Let that be, allow your thoughts and your beliefs to align with that feeling and that field of energy of abundance. And you soon will see evidence of it in your outer reality.
I love that. Thank you. And your credits will be on in the end as I scroll down. And so everyone, that's where you can find all of Christy's programs. Is there a program I saw on your website, you have something coming up that you might want to briefly share? In November, you have a course coming up?
Oh, yes, Deliberately Design Your Awesome Future course. Yes. Yeah, we do different coaching programs each month that are taught by a quantum success coach, and this one will be taught by Rachel, and it's Deliberately Design Your Awesome Future. So we take all the different aspects of your life and imagine yourself connected to the most awesome part, that has the most awesome body, that has the most amazing, financial situation that you can really imagine. And we do tons of processes to find out if you do have an aversion to wealth, what to do about it. So we do a lot of energy work.
That's beautiful. And again, everybody can find that also in the credits. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us, Christy. She's very, very busy, everyone. You've got to check out her little empire there, because I'm grateful that you're here, and it was nice that we were able to get you to come on, because you are so busy. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next segment. Bye.